So the new HomePod, which is the old HomePod, but with worse specs, a lower price, a lot of people are saying it's back from the dead. Now it's really hard to say because I haven't actually had my hands on a new HomePod, but the only improvement I think people are seeing is that the price is a little bit lower on this than it is the first generation when it first released. And what we're really here to talk about is this, the HomePod Mini. And here we have the HomePod Mini, which is just the tiny twin of the HomePod first and second generation. It's not a mini, but this is. And this is a third of the price. And that's one reason I love it, along with a lot of other reasons. And we'll kind of talk about that here. And to me, it actually makes more sense to take two HomePod Minis versus one giant HomePod and save that money. And we'll talk about a little bit why that is and why that just makes more sense. For background, all in all, I've owned 3 total smart speakers, and that's the Google Nest Mini, which was called something else when I bought it, the Amazon Echo Dot, which I got for really cheap from Amazon, and then this HomePod Mini that was right around $100 when I paid for it. And when you visit all 3 of those websites for the 3 products, they all list music as their first primary feature. So I think it is fair to compare a little bit of the sound quality that all 3 of these offer. And you really get what you pay for here because the HomePod Mini really shines in that respect. I mean, it is the highest price, but it is the best sounding, and I really enjoy it. The other 2 I've kind of haven't really listened to music on them. I keep my Echo Dot in the restroom just, in case it gets damaged. I'm not super concerned about it. The HomePod is the most loaded for all the audiophiles out there. It'll give you the crispiest sound, and that's not a knock on the other speakers that I've talked about so far, but you are getting what you pay for with all of these. And I really do want to speak to the sound quality of the HomePod Mini. As I was writing this out, I kind of just decided to leave some music on in the background, and this thing is phenomenal. And for context, I tend to be all over the place. Sometimes I like my music loud, sometimes I like just like a low background music. Sometimes it'll just be white noise just to kind of, get some noise in the room. And as I was pushing it, I was kind of close to the speaker, but when I was at 50%, it was pretty loud. To the point where I had to turn it down a little bit just so I could make it comfortable for listening. This in particular wasn't spectacular, but I don't think it'll stop you from listening to the music. And the music and the lyrics and the vocals still sound great, but if you like a little bit more bass, this probably isn't for you. But it's not like, it doesn't make it unusable by any means. And I imagine if you're in the room and you're just listening to an audiobook or a podcast, that spoken word stuff is going to sound really great coming out of that speaker. And if you have it plugged in a room full of people, it'll definitely fill the room. I only pushed it to about 75%. That was like very loud to me. And I don't think it'll have any issue, if you're working in a big room, pushing it to 70 or 80%, and not get any of that real ugly distortion that we tend to not like when we're pushing our volumes up in our speakers and headphones. And so now I'm going to give you the chance just to listen to it, to the speaker. You can see the mic, you can see the HomePod Mini, and this is just a random track from Epidemic Sound, just so you can see kind of what it's sounding like here. And this is at about 50%. This is up to about 75%. And I'll be honest, actually, as I was like really listening to that, the bass sounded so much better. Maybe it was because it was in my hand. I don't know. But the bass didn't sound terrible at all to me. So just another testament to how good, this little speaker can do in this price range. And for me, I don't live in a huge space, so having two of these and pairing them might even be too much for me. That's a lot of sound to produce, but if you have one in a small room, or you have two in the living area, or like one in the kitchen or something, I think that would be great. Like, it's definitely going to give you all the volume and the quality that you're going to need if you're just kind of like a casual listener and need stuff in the background. Honestly, I could see myself pairing these up to a TV just to get the stereo sound. I think they would sound great, especially in this price range. You're still kind of in like that in between soundbar range, so for me, I kind of like the idea of experimenting with that. And quite honestly, it looks great, and I like having the flexibility of being able to move this around a little bit and not have it take up so much space because it's so tall and things like that. The part that I struggle with the most on the HomePod is the starting price. Like that $300 mark, that's a lot of money for anything audio, especially something that's in your home space. At that point, you're kind of getting into like nice soundbar territory. You could probably find soundbars that have some Bluetooth built in, or that have like a nice subwoofer, or things like that. Maybe even like a small home theater setup. Also, I kind of see the point of if you have two HomePods and they sound amazing and you want to pair two of them and spend that $600, more power to you. But for me, it seems like a lot, and I think I could find a lot better audio solutions that fit my needs and the aesthetic that I would look for. But again, you could get two of these, and you're still spending $100 less than you would if you were, getting one HomePod. And I think that's a tremendous value too. And I think that's worth being considered in this situation. Love the $99 price tag. I think it's priced really well. I think you're getting a lot of value for what's in here. It's the same as the HomePod, same features. It's just a different sound. But like I said, I don't mind the sound. I really love this thing. You'll get a lot of the same smart features that you're getting with the HomePod. I mean, it's basically the same thing. I think this is great in a small space like an office or a dorm, something where you're a little bit more limited, or just want, like a real concentrated sound, because that's where you spend all your time. It goes without saying, this is just another product in the lineup of Apple products that just works well with a lot of the things you enjoy. It's well integrated. It sounds good. There's minor design flaws, but they're things that can be addressed. And so to wrap things up here, I do have a couple of suggestions for Apple that I think would make this thing better. If they made a portable version of this, I think that thing would sell like hotcakes. If you put a battery in this, you make it portable, it'll fit in my backpack. There would be so much to love. I love this little form factor, and it really does have the potential to be like the best portable smart speaker that money could buy, really. If you're an Apple user, that how well they integrate products, and this, it would work. It would just work, and it would be incredibly useful for a lot of people. More and more, I think about traveling with the speaker. If it fits right in my backpack, I could take it on the beach. I could take it to a get-together with friends, and it would sound great, and it would do everything that it needs to do just to kind of be a good all-around speaker in any situation. I also have this set as my alarm every morning, so every morning you can customize it from your Apple Music and play a specific playlist or a song, and it's pretty reliable. It's pretty customizable in the Home app as well. And I can confirm that it works with this battery pack. Hey Siri, what's the weather?
It's currently cloudy and 40 degrees. Expect partly cloudy skies starting tonight. Today's high will be 57, and the low will be 34 degrees.
And so it's cool that it works with a battery pack, but there's speakers that already do that. But like I said, without needing an extra cable or anything like that, or a plug, this thing would be perfect. I do also wish that it worked better with Spotify. I can only kind of get it to work with Apple Music, and that part's really annoying. And if you're just kind of just like a casual listener and don't need like the most audiophile setup that you can find, I think this is going to be perfect for you. I think it's well priced, and it's going to, be something that you enjoy aesthetically, especially in all the different colors. It's also another thing in Apple's lineup that is lower in price but holds a ton of value, and I think, you know, like they really nailed it with this HomePod. Even though it's a little bit older, I think, you know, it holds its value really well over the past few years. I do wish I had some Bluetooth functionality. You can only AirPlay, but I mean, if you have a Mac Mini or a MacBook and you need a better speaker, Apple TV, those things, or your handheld devices, this will connect if you're on the same Wi-Fi network. That's how I played the music earlier, and you know, that's pretty awesome too. But Bluetooth would be nice. You know, maybe they add that in a future version of this. And that's going to be all for this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe, please comment, please like, share it if you know, found value in this. I have a few other videos talking about the new Apple lineup that I will link below and link above, talking about the Mac Minis and the MacBooks and why I'm upgrading and why I'm not upgrading. So if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you'll probably find those of value if you're trying to find more value propositions. And if there's another video you'd like to see that I can afford, just let me know in the comments. I'm open to all suggestions, and I appreciate you letting this channel grow. See ya.